Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be going back to the topic of mentors, but this time we're going to be narrowing it down and focusing on the 5 kinds of mentors you can have and what makes each one so fun. So much detail with mentors in the last video, and good lord, that was a nightmare to edit and go through, and I'm so sorry that I rambled so friggin' much. I don't know if you've noticed, but I like to ramble. Sometimes there is no point to it whatsoever, but I don't seem to notice, and here I go again. Okay, so little mini recap. What is a mentor? A mentor is a force that pushes your character forward and teaches them the ways of the world around them or the skills that they can learn in order to better themselves for the final fight. They are often used as exposition dumps to explain the world around them or how a magic system works. Sometimes they are just used to be cannon fodder later on, and they are just not treated with the respect that they deserve. Do you always need a mentor? No, you do not. Sometimes a story just doesn't require them. Sometimes a character has had to learn things on their own, and that is perfectly fine. Sometimes your character becomes the mentor later on. Sometimes life just doesn't work out that way. But yes, today we are talking about the 5 kinds of mentors. Now, I say that there are 5 kinds. There are many, many, many more. I'm only narrowing it down to 5 because the other ones can be sort of hybrids and crosses. They can be a mixture of they can be a mixture of all of them, really, but this is just simplifying it, and then you can mix and match and add them together to create something unique, and that is what so many people have done. These are just the 5 that really boil it down to layman's terms. Also, I should give a fair warning that because I'm discussing mentors and I'm going to be using examples and how that particular character might work for this particular trope, there might be some spoilers, and these are the examples that I'm going to be giving, so there might be some spoilers for these, I'm sorry. So moving on, let's look at the first of these boiled down mentor types. The first one we're looking at is the wise mentor. Now the wise mentor is usually the old man trope. Sometimes they're a little bit playful, sometimes they're more on the serious side. They've had their adventures, they've done their own thing, and now they are the cuddly grandpa type that can still kick your ass pretty good. Usually these ones always die, mostly because of their age, and once again because of their age, that is the reason that they are not the main focus of the story and are not the main character. They're old, they're tired, they're done, they've had their fun, and now it's time to pass on the torch. So for these, you're looking at your Gandalfs, your Dumbledores, your Professor Xaviers, that kind of thing, where they have learnt so much in their time, they have so much knowledge, they have a lot of power, but they know that this is not their time to use it. They know that they need to reserve their energy in order to pass on the torch to the younger generation. They are willing to do so, they are happy to do so, they're willing to have fun, but don't push your luck. They're the grandpa, the wise grandpa. The second type of mentor is a really fun one to write, let's be honest, and this is the badass mentor. They're a little bit scary, they're tough, they're very rough around the edges, they still think that they've got some fight in them, they just don't give a shit about you. They don't want to be a mentor, they would rather do anything else, but this is just the cards that fate has played them, and they are going to be completely honest about how unhappy they are about it, and they will make your life hell. 9 times out of 10, this particular mentor will have a turnaround arc where they will realise that you're not so bad after all. Maybe they like mentoring, maybe you're worth sticking their neck out for. Maybe you're not so bad, kid. They usually have a dark past. They have seen so much hardships, they have lost a lot of people, they've cut themselves off from society. They're angry, they're scary, they don't like you, and they're not afraid to let you know about it. For this one, we're going to be looking at people like Morpheus from the Matrix series. And I know you're thinking, surely he would be in the wise old man trope, and yeah, he definitely has a lot of strong elements for it, but he's still a scary guy. He doesn't care who you are, as long as you just make your decision, red or blue, and you stick with it and you do your damn job, because he has other shit to deal with. He will kick your ass We're also looking at Melinda May from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series. She is tough, she is scary, and she has an amazing arc as the series goes on where she learns to be part of the team again, that she doesn't have to be such a lone wolf, because sometimes it's nice having someone having your back, you know? But cross her and she will kill you without any hesitation. If you want to look at a more childish version of a badass mentor, look at Miss Hardbroom from the Worst Witch series. She is scary, she is intimidating, she will turn you into a rat if you're not careful, and she was a figure of nightmare fuel, but she was a great teacher, and you know, she came around to the students later on. She didn't really want you to die, but she wasn't going to really save you either. You know, if you want to put a badass mentor in a children's book series, that is how you do it. But yeah, then you have ones like Melinda May and Morpheus where they will just throw you off a building without even a second glance, so, you know, swings and roundabouts. Number 3 is also really fun, and this is the crazy mentor. They have very little obvious logic to them. They do their own thing. They are just chaotic neutral in the best sense, because the lessons they teach might not seem like lessons. There's no obvious motive to them. They're just doing their own thing for the fun of it, and you're just being dragged along for the ride and hoping that you can survive and pick up a few tips along the way. Sometimes they'll pretend not to be a mentor just to mess with you. Sometimes they'll call themselves a mentor but then do absolutely bugger all to be a mentor, and then you have to really fight to learn the lessons yourselves, and then it turns out that was just their teaching style all along. They just didn't want to tell you about it because it was more fun to watch you struggle. These ones don't typically die. They still could die just to show that there was, you know, an element of seriousness to them, that they can still, you know, fight to the last breath, that kind of thing. But mostly they will just vanish in a puff of smoke. They will have no explanation. They will just disappear one day, and then maybe that's the sequel of you trying to find them. Maybe they never really existed and they were just in your head the whole time. You will never know, and that is the way they like it. Now, the obvious choice of an example for this one would be Mr. Miyagi from the Karate Kid series, but that's an obvious one. If you want to go into a little bit more detail, let's look at Ida from The Owl House, which is an amazing series, by the way. It has made me cry and has made me laugh, and I love it so much, and God, I need that finale coming soon. Oh my god. But yes, when she first starts out, she doesn't really know that she's a mentor. She doesn't really want to be a mentor, but not in the sense that, oh god, here we go. And she's not a reluctant mentor, which we'll get to in a minute. She's the eccentric, crazy mentor where she knows she has to do a job, but she's too busy doing her own thing and just messing with you the whole time. She's supposed to be teaching magic, but she's too busy enjoying her own magic and just expecting you to pick things up on your own. She's so much fun. But then she does have the scary mentor bit to her when she goes into protective mode, which then can lead into things like sacrifices. But we'll get to that another day. Also, Kelsier from the Mistborn series. He pretty much thinks he's Jesus at this point. He is so powerful, he knows it, he enjoys the idea of being a mentor because it's just something to fuel his ego and another poor student to mess around with, and he's just so fun. He's just so over the top with everything he does, and it's great to read. But number 4, like we said a minute ago, is the reluctant mentor. This is the mentor that wants nothing to do with you, does not want to be a mentor, but they're not the scary kind of mentor. So I've just noticed the red mark that is right in the middle of my nose. So they're not the scary kind of mentor. They're not intimidating. They're not so rough around the edges that you want nothing to do with them. They just don't like you. They don't want to be a mentor. They don't want to pass on. Maybe they feel like they're not worthy of passing on the torch. Maybe they feel like they didn't do anything to deserve being treated in such a way and have this authority over someone else. They've done things in the past that maybe they're not proud of, and now you've come along and wanted to be the next them, and they're just there like, no, this is the opposite of what you should be. Now, they do have potential for a character arc because they learn to be open again. They learn to take someone under their wing. They learn that, again, maybe you're not so bad, kid. Maybe they learn that they missed the adventure after all. There's potential there. but you have to go through so much to get them there because they want nothing to do with you. I'm talking about your Hamishes from the Hunger Games. I'm talking about your Peter B. Parkers from the Spider-Verse movie, which is a friggin' amazing movie. Oh my god, there is so much mental potential there, but ooh, if I go into that rabbit hole, I will never come out. Also, if you want to get more fantasy whimsical based, then Mary Poppins is also a reluctant mentor, because at the end of the day, she's being paid to be there. She's not going out of her way to teach you all of these lessons and try so hard to be like, but look how wonderful life is if you just stay positive. She will tell you straight. She will tell you exactly what is wrong with you. It's up to you if you want to listen to her. She does not care. She's there to do a job at the end of the day, and when some magical stuff happens, she just brushes it off like this is just a regular day for her. You're just coming along for the ride. And number 5, we have one of my favourite types of mentors, because they can come in so many shades and I love it. It is the secret mentor. And by that I mean you never really see it coming. Or if you do, it's not in the way you think. Children. So for example, one kind of secret mentor is the mentor that never knew they were a mentor to begin with. Maybe they think they're the one being mentored, that they're the one being taught, and then it turns out that they're the ones who have actually been teaching them the whole time. Good example, again from Spider-Verse, because I love that movie and now that's all that's in my head, is Miles Morales. He starts off as just the everyday kid that has suddenly got all of this power put on him, and now he is seeking a mentor. But the one he gets, Peter B, isn't great. He's not a great mentor. He's the reluctant mentor. He has to teach him a few things even though he really doesn't want to, but then by the end of it you realise actually it's Miles that has taught him how to open up again, to accept responsibility for his mistakes, and to actually want to redeem himself. And that is something that is usually very heavily put on the hero, not the side character mentor. But also under the secret mentor type is the villainous mentor. Now they can come across as really helpful and motivational, and they feel like, yeah, they really support this character, only to find out that they have been grooming the character to be their next successor, to be the bad guy. Maybe they're just setting them up to, like, oh, I was only using you to get the MacGuffin kind of thing, or I never really cared about you, I was just using you to get to this other person. There's so many ways you can do it, and it hurts so much when your character realizes that the person they looked up to is actually the scum of the earth. Because there's still that connection there, there's still all the good experiences, and also with a villainous mentor you have the potential for a redemption or a punishment. Whichever way you go, it's going to be interesting, because they have to suddenly own up to their mistakes, or they have to realise that they do care about this kid, and now they have to go and protect them, even though it goes against everything that they were working for. They can be manipulative in different ways depending on which way you're looking at it, but they're so much fun, and there's a lot of potential there for great personality and great arcs and great development. So I've already said Miles Morales is one example. Another example for a secret mentor is Hannah from Hammer? She's only in one episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender, Puppeteer, because when they arrive at this village they are looking around and there's been weird disappearances, and there's this very kind old woman who's a master waterbender, and she wants to teach Katara. She wants to take her under her wing, and Katara is so eager to learn, and it feels like this is a great mentor relationship, only to find out that this woman has been grooming Katara and teaching her to do one of the most despicable types of bending, blood bending, which is repulsive and such a horrible thing to think about, and Katara is disgusted and hurt and crushed, and what's worse is that she has to use those techniques in order to one up on the bad guy, and it just completely breaks her. And it is such a good episode and such a good secret mentor villain. Oh my god. Mentors have so much potential and they're amazing, and I love it so much. So yeah, those are the 5 kinds of mentors that are out there. There are many hybrids. Sometimes making a hybrid is more difficult and does mean that you have to put more effort into their backstory and their character arcs and development, but that just means that they're going to be such stronger characters. You can have the reluctant, scary mentor. You can have the crazy old man wise mentor. You can have the secret villain eccentric mentor. They're so much fun to combine. You can do pretty much anything with these 5 tropes, and they don't all have to die, I'm just saying. So I'm going to leave it there. There's definitely so much more stuff on mentors that I could go into, but for now I only have the last video and this video planned. I'll see if I can get more stuff together. Guaranteed there's more I can do, but for right now, let's just leave it here. I hope you guys are doing well and staying safe, and if you have any mentor tips or stories, I would love to hear them, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye, my scribblers.